Welcome back to Sunrise. Well, now we've got Dr. Obada Mailafia, who is a former deputy governor of the CBN. He's also a policy analyst. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you so very much, all of you. Happy Democracy Day.
Thank you.
To you and to all our viewers. It's a great honor to be here.
Thank you. Also nice to have you here. But looking through now, we just heard the president in his speech while he talked about 19 years of our democracy, but 3 years on, he reeled out some of the efforts that the government has put in place to ensure that the economy stabilizes. He talked about economic growth as well. But let's get it from your perspective. Having seen what they've done over time in this administration, how do you think they've fared?
Well, you know, they've fared well in some areas, and they've fared not so well in some areas. For one thing, we all agree that economic recovery has taken place. The government had the misfortune of inheriting almost empty treasury due to grant larceny that took place by the previous administration, and also because of the global collapse of oil prices and the balance of payments crisis the government inherited. There's almost nothing in the coffers. It was extremely difficult. They weathered the storm well, and today we have economic recovery thanks to the Economic Growth and Recovery Plan, ERGP. The fundamentals are improving. Inflation, as you all know, has come down from almost 20% to about 12.5% annualized. Interest rates are going down. The external reserves have risen to almost 50 billion, quite a big jump. We've seen in the last few quarters almost 70 billion of capital inflows, which shows that foreign investors are getting more confident about what's happening in the country. And the stock market has grown by over 40% in terms of total capitalization. So obviously the government has some bragging rights in certain areas. But unfortunately also there's the downside. In spite of what looks like, you know, quite positive figures in terms of the macroeconomy, the truth is that a lot of Nigerians are in despair. There's a deep feeling of despair across all sections of society.
Why do you think that's the case?
Because there's a general feeling of geopolitical uncertainty. The middle class is being squeezed, middle class of professionals, civil servants.
Despite of the economic gains?
In spite of
the figures which you highlighted now?
Yes, there's just a lot of a feeling of things not being right. In fact, a recent survey showed that over 80% people felt the country was going in the wrong direction. This is by Clean, an NGO supported by the Norwegian agency NORAD, based here in Nigeria. A survey showed that, and this is not somebody that, they are not into political gimmicks. They are real actual surveys, show that 80% of Nigerians felt the country is going in the wrong direction. And for 80% of the population to feel that way, it's like they used to say in Brazil that the economy is doing well, but the people are not doing well. Among the youth, unemployment is rising, poverty is increasing, and also, to be honest, a kind of anarchy. The crisis of the rule of law, insecurity, that people, criminals, can hire vans and rob an entire bank and kill so many people, and then the reality of rural banditry in the Middle Belt. We don't want to talk about Fulani, herdsmen, farmers. This is to inoculate what amounts to almost genocide in the Middle Belt. So a lot of things are wrong with this country that almost overshadow whatever gains we may have made in terms of, you know, improvements in the economy. And that worries me a lot.
You know, when you talk about the survey carried out by
Clean, C-L-E-E-N, Clean.
There are those who will be concerned because they'll say some surveys are done as in samples are taken across the country, and that may not be enough to actually say there are no gains for the people to look forward to. That's not enough to say the nation's not, there's no clarity as to where the nation's going to. I mean,
well, I'm not the one that did that survey, but
I do know that. I wanted to go back to
sure. I know the people
tie
involved.
this to the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics and their recent report that the country is moving forward in a particular direction, howbeit maybe not as fast as it should. So how do you compare the two?
Well, Aristotle would always say that the truth is somewhere in the middle. If 80% surveys showed that things are very bad, and the other people say that things are very good, of course you would expect the NBS. And I respect Yemi Kale is a decent and very capable, Director General, but it's a government agency, and he would not be expected to say otherwise. Let's be very brutally honest. If he stuck to his statistics, then we can say the statistics don't lie. But to go to the level of opinion surveys carried out by a government agency, nobody would believe it. That's the truth of it. Look, let's be very frank. There is a feeling that we've lost direction as a country, that we are not moving where we ought to be. Nigerians have become more divided than ever. People are now thinking in terms of tribe and religion. Is everyone to his tent or Israel? And that gives me a very bad feeling. And we've forgotten the task of nation building. That as leaders, our responsibility is to bring people together, not divide them. Not divide them. And it looks as if we are dividing our people, and it is very dangerous.
But when I talk about those stats and how perhaps if people don't believe them, but the methods are universal that they apply in carrying out those statistics. Sample sizes, sometimes it's even bigger than some of the other international agencies. So why won't people believe them if they're all scientific?
If
the methods adopted.
Yes, there are scientific methods and there are scientific methods. As you know, you can also lie with statistics because you can choose the sample that you want to concentrate on, and you can even choose the baseline. If I just choose the baseline of yesterday and say, oh, by today there was 100% improvement, it is factually correct, but philosophically inaccurate because you've based it on on a random baseline. So the thing is, people can still lie with statistics. That is true. But I don't expect an organization like supported by NORAD all the way from Norway. They have nothing to gain by lying to us. It will profit them nothing. So, and I think sometimes I take those ones more seriously than local government agencies, like local agencies of government that say things that they think people want to hear, or or even to just keep their jobs, shall we put it?
Okay.